Hello, welcome to with me, Winner NJ, to that video of Weekly Engine, which this week the one anime I am talking about is Azur Lane, Queen's Orders, those OVAs there that it got, which honestly, overall, they were just nice slice of life stuff, basically, in the slice of life world of Azur Lane. That has nothing to do with actual story going on there. So yeah, first episode was basically just Queen Elizabeth losing a bet to Valiant, which resulted in them swapping their roles for a day, which also means that we end up getting to see Queen Elizabeth and Warspite in maid outfits. But also, one thing I noticed in that episode was that Little Belle was there. So that answered one of my kind of questions about the world of the slice of life worlds there, and whether or not the lolly versions of ships actually exist within that world, or they're just a thing that's in the game but don't actually exist canonically. So yeah, apparently they're canon within that world at the very least. But with that there, all that mentions there, I don't think I really have anything else to mention for the first episode of the OVA, so moving on to that second episode, which is basically just a festival, which allowed us to see the other factions a bit there, which was nice, I guess. But that's all it really was. So overall, the OVAs were just nice, I guess. But when it comes to anime overall, when it comes to Azur Lane, I am honestly kind of just sad that I don't think we'll ever actually get to see a continuation of the story and get a second season for that, considering how long it's been since that first season aired for the story, which adapted the first event from the game. And yeah, literally nothing since. Everything else has been slice of life, which also apparently the Slow Ahead anime is actually going to be getting a second season, but Mal for some reason did not ever notify me about that. So yeah, we got that to look forward to, I guess, at some point. But yeah, when it comes to the actual story for Azur Lane in the anime, it makes sense why we've never gotten a second season so far, at least. And that's purely because just that first season of it's there was honestly just bad from what I remember. It was not a very good adaptation at all, which I think is mostly just a result of how the story is actually structured in game. It only really works in game, so it doesn't really translate well into other forms of media. Because in game you kind of jump around quite a bit, in all honesty. Translate that over to something else like an anime and it's just going to be weird because you're constantly jumping around to different things. So yeah, but that's all I have to mention for that anime there, those OVAs. So moving on to what I guess is actually the main thing for me to be talking about this week. Yeah, payment processors, censoring games and crap. Honestly, it's something I've been aware of for quite a while at this point, that they've been up to shit, but haven't really mentioned it because it's mostly focused on Japan for the most part, so there wasn't anything I could really do. But yeah, they've gone after Steam and Itch.io at this point, which some of the games I actually had on Itch.io have actually been removed. And I'm sure even more will get removed if the crap does not stop. Though I am surprised that a few of them are actually still up on Itch.io. Not going to say which ones those are though, because I don't want to bring any more attention to them. Considering the content that's in them is definitely not something those payment processors would like. Despite the fact that they have no need to be doing any of the crap they're doing. But yeah, what these payment processors are basically doing, I would say, is basically the equivalent of the manufacturer of your wallet, dictating how you're allowed to spend your money. Which is something that's obviously impossible for them to actually do, but payment processors have the ability to do that and are for some reason allowed to do that. Despite the fact that payment processors are not held liable for any illegal transactions, at least as far as I know, so they have no actual incentive to be doing this besides just appeasing loud minorities that are just complain about absolutely fucking everything. That probably makes up an even smaller portion of their customers than the ones that are being targeted and literally everything that they fucking go after. And honestly, at this point, I'm kind of just wondering why the fuck payment processors are not considered public utilities like ISPs are, for example, when payment processors are basically something that everyone needs to have these days, considering you got businesses, of course, that literally operate entirely on the internet, do not actually have physical locations or anything, so they're completely reliant on payment processors to actually make a living and do business. So yeah, why the fuck are they not considered public utilities? Anyone want to explain that? Try and get Congress to fucking pass a bill that'll do that, considering it doubts the whole Fair Access Banking Act or whatever the name of it was actually does that. Considering I'm pretty sure that would basically solve everything easily. It's just making them public utilities. Because then they cannot have any excuses to do any of the crap they're currently doing. Even though I'm pretty sure everything they're doing right now is basically illegal already. But yeah, moving on from that specific thing there, and moving on to more general things, considering just, yeah, online censorship in general coming from our governments at this point. Starting off with, of course, the United Kingdom, with all their age verification crap. That goes into effect, and apparently immediately afterwards the EU starts trying to draft up laws for it as well. And also apparently the United States. Fuck. But I guess to kind of just go over things in general when it comes to my position on this stuff, is that when it comes to age verification stuff, I agree with the idea of what it is supposed to do on paper. But in practice, I absolutely do not support any of it at all, because I know that it's impossible to enforce any of it, and it will just be abused to hell and back. And how do I know it's unenforceable? Because, well, I kind of live in a state that already is credited age verification crap, and yeah, that hasn't actually stopped me from doing anything. It's just made me stop using the sites that follow the law. So, protecting the children, yeah, you're just going to push the children to worse parts of the fucking internet, or they'll see even worse crap. Though we all know the whole protecting the children crap is just the excuse. They just want more control. But seriously, these laws literally only do one thing, and that is push people away from the sites that will actually follow the law and push them towards sites that do not follow the law and are able to go under the radar, because not that many people use them and stuff, at least compared to the major ones. And also, one other thing to really think about when it comes to all this, if you take away people's porn, games, anime, all these things that majority of the population basically uses and are pretty much the only things really keeping them content, I guess is the word, preventing them from taking up arms against the government. Yeah, what do you think is going to happen if you actually go through and do all this crap, basically taking all that away from the majority of the population that honestly hates the government? they're probably gonna go and attack the government. Just saying. But yeah, all this crap is fucking ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. And all this happening basically within a span of a single week. Yeah, there's definitely some powerful fucking people behind the damn shit. That is for sure. Bigger than the governments. That's for fucking sure. But yeah, do everything you can to prevent all these laws and everything from going into effect, and for those over in the UK, well, good luck getting rid of them. Oh god. I think probably best advice is just trying to get into government yourself so you yourself can actually prevent the crap from happening. That's the best advice I probably can really give. But, yeah. I guess that's all I really have to say here. Because I can't really think of any specifics when it comes to all that crap that I really want to talk about. So, yeah. I guess that there is the end of this video here. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Or which you probably haven't, considering, well, yeah, it's obvious. But I hope you've all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.